The good thing about everybody trying to play the game is that everybody's trying to play the game and not just sitting back and relaxing all the time. But the bad thing about everybody trying to play the game this hard is a lot of people eventually start to play really poorly. And it starts with this Queens team. The Queens are just always trying to find a reason to overthink and overplay and constantly change their mind. All day, every day, they just talk game. This is the game bot team of Kyland, Claire, and Tiffany constantly talking game. Kyland, however, at least has a good social game. I can't say the same for Claire at all. And I don't think I can say the same for Tiffany anymore. But I can, but I can't. We'll get to more. I've said enough about Tiffany this week. I was trying to come into these last couple of nights not trying to talk shit about Tiffany and Claire, but it's hard. They're making it hard. And I have some positive things to say too. For the first time in a while. So today the Queens actually finally thought, you know what, it probably is best if we target the Kings. Derek X has been telling them this for a couple of days now. They didn't want to listen. It's kind of like they wanted to just come up with the idea themselves because, there is some control issues with Tiffany and with Kyland. And this came about because I think Christian had a talk with Claire, I want to say. I was talking about how he's not sure he wants to win HOH. Why don't the Queens want to win HOH? So the Queens came up with a reason that if they win HOH, they might have to put up a member of the Kings as a pawn. So Kylan tells this to Xavier and the Kings then decide they really need to win HOH now because they don't want to even be on the block at all. And the idea that they all push is Whitney and Hannah would be who they would nominate because players like Sarah Beth have been pushing for Hannah, even though it was originally Brittany. Brittany put this idea in people's heads about Hannah before people try and give credit to Sarah Beth. Sarah Beth is still a bottom tier player. But Xavier still wants to target 2B Whitney. Kylan still wants to target 2B Whitney. So Xavier gives in to their idea of Whitney and Hannah because Xavier's pretty sure that the numbers would be there for Hannah to stay. But all of this didn't have to happen. Tiffany and Claire pushed this royal flush alliance between the Kings, the Queens, and Derek X on Kylan's HOH. They did all the dirty work for Kylan, even though this alliance never really did anything for Tiffany and Claire. But as we've established, Tiffany and Claire, they're always just trying to create new alliances. That is their go-to. But then we'll talk about Whitney. So Whitney decided today, go to Alyssa and Christian, try and make an alliance between those three and Xavier and Derek X while trying to throw Hannah under the bus. The last couple days, Derek X and Hannah have been trying to protect Whitney. So what does she do is try and throw Hannah under the bus. Some people can say that's cutthroat. I would call it really fucking dumb because it is just very short-sighted. Because first of all, the week's not even over yet. It's not even a new HOH week. But also, players like Azza have already clocked Whitney that she just runs to power and will throw anybody under the bus, and here she is already doing that. Other players have clocked that as well, like Tiffany. But I think this just shows that Azza's reads, despite only knowing half of the information most of the time, are better than a lot of these players that have a lot of information or even half of information. I really believe Azza has the best gut instincts in the entire house. She has had a lot of great reads already. She knew that Brent should have went before Frenchie because it was best for a lot of people's games if that were to happen, and keep Frenchie around as a distraction, really actually would have helped these queens that are overplaying. Now she has the perfect read on Whitney. Her gut instincts for this game are there if only she could take her emotions out of it. But back to Whitney being stupid. Why throw why throw Hannah under the bus right now anyway? Like, I could get Whitney trying to make sure she's not the next target, put the target on Hannah, but then also try and make that 5-person alliance with Derek X, who she knows is close to Hannah. That just makes no sense to me whatsoever. But it's also dumb. I hate when players just don't come up with the optimal, shout out to Mike, move for their games. The optimal move for Whitney has always just been to try and create something with the outsiders, but Whitney doesn't realize this, or who she should know who some of the outsiders are, Ozan, Brittany, but instead she throws somebody who's been trying to help her under the bus just to try to save herself for 1 week while people are already onto what she does. I know. I was glad when Whitney finally started playing the game, but she's just dumb. But after this conversation, Alyssa goes and tells Xavier all of this and now wants to target Hannah, which worries Xavier. He tries to run through the numbers if Hannah would be able to stay if it was Whitney and Hannah on the block next week. But Xavier, for someone who is putting most of his eggs in the cookout basket, he sure does like to keep the Kings at 4. On one hand, I kind of get it for his own game, but he needs to decide between the cookout and the Kings because it really doesn't make any sense. You're just losing a member of a 4-person team. And I would love for the team twist to end now. I would love this to be the last week of the team twist. Let these players start actually playing their individual games more. It's time. That would be unexpected because we're all expecting it to go on for one more fucking long week. And the players are expecting it to go on one more week. So it would be to expect the unexpected if it ended this week. But of course, with this show, it's usually the expected. Hopefully, they will actually do something unexpected for once, though. But yeah, I don't know why Xavier wants the Kings to go so hard for this next HOH. It doesn't really benefit him at all if Hannah gets the boot. It especially doesn't benefit him if somehow next week Hannah and Ozza end up on the block together. That would split the cookout in half. So Xavier needs to stick with his plan with the cookout because I think that works best for him rather than just trying to hang on to this Kings team. Another stupid move today by someone in the game. As for these outsiders, though, to this stupid royal family alliance, like for this next week, I feel like the outsiders could be in danger. Outsiders being Azza, Brittany, Whitney, Hannah, Derek F. But in the long run, I honestly feel like the way the game's going, I feel like they have a lot of benefits in the game because people, I think, will start saying, oh, we should probably bring them to our side. Either use them for making a move or use them for numbers. So honestly, the Jokers being so emotional and emotional players, if all 3 can survive one more week to when the teams are likely to be no more, they're honestly in a good spot, I think. But we'll see. Ozza and Tiffany made up a little bit, but I mean, for me, it's like Tiffany's still been talking about Tiffany, the person who thinks she's not an emotional player, but really is an emotional player. Leo's not going to be emotional. Fuck out of here. She's still been the one going around saying, "Oh, Ozza and I fought. Oh, Ozza's being aggressive," but they made up today. I don't know. Tiffany's social game struggle. Derek Axe and Hannah decided that they need to try and separate more so they're not seen as one. But then, about 8 hours later, during the game nights where they're always doing games every night with a big blue couch, um, they were all up on each other. Derek Fraser even was calling them out about being a couple jokingly, but yeah. But Hannah in general can be in danger. The target has grown on her. Started with Brittany spreading things that gotta watch out for Hannah. Hannah's smart. Sarah Beth jumped on board. Sarah Beth tried to push Derek X and Hannah closer so she could put a target on Hannah. Then Alyssa gets on board because Alyssa's obsessed with Hannah. She's a jealous one. I mean, tonight during the big blue couch, she wasn't getting attention. Christian had fallen asleep next to Whitney and on Whitney's lap, and the other girls were all up on Xavier. So she wasn't getting attention, and then the Derek X and Hannah were together on the couch. So she started, making a scene acting like she was sad and crying after, and making it seem like she was crying because she's sad about what they're all doing to Brent, but in reality, either A, she wanted attention, or B, she was upset that Christian was sleeping all up on Whitney. Likely both, though. But yes, people are starting to want to target Hannah. Next to Whitney, I feel like she has the numbers to stay. Next to other players, I'm not so sure. Hannah needs to talk less and listen more. That is her biggest issue. And now that she's trusting Whitney when Whitney's trying to throw her under the bus, even though it makes no sense. But I feel like at least she's been convinced to not throw the next HOH because, like every week so far, everybody's discussing who to throw the HOH to or who to throw to HOH. But it looks like right now the aces outside of Derek X, so Hannah and Whitney will go for HOH. The Jokers are going for HOH, and again, I'm assuming the Kings outside of Sarah Beth, so really Alyssa and Christian are going for HOH. The Queens are in so many alliances that they can't go for HOH. They're handcuffed to their several alliances. Although Kylan says if he has to win HOH, he will. But I do think Hannah needs to really try and get it together. Her reads have been off the last few days. It's not going well. Derek X also needs to start trying to make his own team, I think. Instead of just getting thrown into all these alliances he don't want to be in, he connects with people. And like I was talking about yesterday, make alliances with people you're actually connecting with and trusting. What is so hard about that? Like on one hand, I kind of understand why Derek X is playing a safe because doesn't want to make the wrong move against Tiffany, Claire, and Kylan, but he needs to get to the jury phase of this game with both Azza and Hannah. That's the only way Derek X has a shot making it to the end of this game. I feel like even if he just makes it with Azza, maybe he has a shot to get to the end of the game. If he just makes it with Hannah, I don't like his chances. And if he makes it with neither of them, he's fucked. Okay, now I can finally compliment Claire for basically one of the first times in this game. I feel like she's finally gotten through to Tiffany about Kyland and that Kyland has a lot of people in this game. He has Sarah Beth, he has Xavier, might have Derek Fraser. He has them, he has Derek X. So they had a breakthrough. And Tiffany, in general, I felt like she was understanding that she really did a lot over the past 11 nights. She really played a little too hard over the last 11 nights and has gotten herself into a lot of shit. I have always felt that for the past 11 nights that she has not felt like the cookout was her best way to get to the end. And she finally admitted that tonight talking to the cameras. But Claire really did get through to her about Kylan and making that final two with Kylan. So she's weary of Kylan because Kylan does do a lot and Kylan does talk a lot. But then, what is the solution of Tiffany and Claire? Well, of course, What is always their solution? If you've learned anything from me over these past 11 nights, their solution is always create yet a new alliance. I mean, they got the chessboards out again, trying to look up the board and who they could pull in. And they're still talking about this right now as I'm recording this. I can't watch them do this every night. I can't watch them overplay, overthink every damn night. But it seems like they want to. Last I heard from them was to create a new 8-person alliance, and I don't think this is going to come to fruition. But they want to create a new 8-person alliance between those two, Derek X and Hannah, Brittany and Ozza, and Christian and Alyssa. Basically, a duos type team. Like, on one hand, I'm glad that they're thinking that Kylan's a threat, but he's not coming after them right now. It's a little too early to be trying to come up with yet another alliance to go against Kylan, I think. But we'll see what comes of this. And yet another goddamn alliance. I mean, it's definitely been shaping up of Tiffany and Kylan starting to have a power struggle, Claire playing a part in it, Derek X playing a part in it. At least that's interesting. I'll give it that. Because I'm really just tired of hearing about how people are going to throw goddamn HOH competitions every week and every day. They talk about that a lot, and that gets boring pretty quickly. Gonna go over some of the comments on yesterday's video. Hopefully I'm pronouncing your name right. If not, please help me. Kamisha was asking who are the duos in the house. I explained in the comments, but I see the duos as for sure Claire and Tiffany. Tiffany admitting that Claire is the number one person she trusts, and Claire has admitted that Tiffany is the number one person she trusts. So that is clearly a duo. I do think Kylan and Xavier see that they need to get to the end. But I think with that duo, they would each want to pull in Derek F to take to the end with them rather than the other. Kylan and Sarah Beth, by the way, Tiffany and Claire have fully clocked that Kylan has Sarah Beth now. So that is a duo, but it is a duo that Kylan ratted out to the wrong person, being Tiffany. Alyssa Christian, obviously the boring ass showmans. And then it's kind of Ozza and Brittany, but then it's like kind of Ozza and Derek F. I just feel like the Jokers are more of a trio than, and it's a loose trio, more of a loose trio than a tight trio. But they're a mess, and I still hope a Joker wins the next HOH to give us a fucking mess. We need a messy HOH. Like, I think Brittany would get on my nerves eventually as HOH with HOH-itis. But she would might go after some interesting people like Tiffany or Xavier. I don't really want her to go after Xavier, but Tiffany needs a wake-up call. And then there's Derek X and Hannah, kinda. Derek X and Ozza, kinda, not really. I mean, Derek X and Ozza just talk about personal. So it's a very personal connection. They could be a great duo, though, if they would talk more game or. And then the Derek X and Hannah are clearly being seen as more of a showmans now, even though they're really not. And they don't make a good duo because they don't plan together. Because Derek X is always working in fucking alliances that he doesn't even want to be in. Let's see. I got a comment from the dude that likes to chill who said, I seriously want DX and Hannah to work together. Same. I wish they would really work together on a more. Derek X does need to start giving her more information. That just has to happen. He has to take that chance before it's too late. And then we had Speak the Word Bible Study, who was talking about how the competitions have sucked for a while now. Agreed. Just production in general has sucked for a long time. All right, that's all I got. Thank you for watching. See y'all tomorrow, hopefully.